Good afternoon. This is Jim from Slick Cyber Systems. I am joined by Chris and Steve from Slick Cyber Systems as well. And today's topic is going to be this is really Chris centric because he kind of does this for a living for us, or a good portion of it.
Yep.
Uh, we're going to talk about SEO, search engine optimization, and all the fun stuff that goes with it. And I know I'm probably going to have questions, going through this. Steve, you probably
Yeah.
will as well. But Chris, take it away, buddy, because this
Well,
is
it's gonna.
really your.
I feel like it's a blending of two things here, right? SEO, search engine optimization, meaning that when someone searches for you online, right, they are going to use some sort of term or something that's going to hopefully lead back to you. And if you've done your homework, you've made sure that your website is optimized, having the proper information on it, so that the search engines can find you. But in addition to that, there's another component that seems to go hand in hand, and a lot of people don't think about social media. So, some people love it, some people hate it. Yes, you can become addicted to it if you're 12 or 14 and you're,
or 40.
yeah, yeah. And you want to watch pictures of videos of cats or whatever, whoever the keeping up with whatever famous person is doing. But it can be a valuable tool because your audience, doesn't matter how much you like it or dislike it, your audience lives there. They do things on there. They may do things after hours or through work. They might actually have to post something up for their customers.
Absolutely.
So knowing that's the case, you as a business need to understand that your website, which is nothing more than an extension of your business, if you had like a store, think of it as a store that lives on the internet, right? It should have the right kind of colors, the right kind of looks, the right language on it, along with your, how people contact you, email addresses,
It's
your
a
so
it's a
yeah,
mix of language and branding.
absolutely, absolutely. And the piece that I think it's lost a lot of times is that in this is that it's important. It is not something that you do once a month or here and there when you have time. It is almost something that you need to do on a daily basis. Or you schedule time at minimum weekly to do it and have content go out, look at it so you're answering customer questions through social media because they're going to ask questions. People are going to
Sure.
ask when they're interested. They're going to pick up their phone. Let's see if I can get it in there. Their phone when it's convenient to them. They're on
Sure.
lunch and they stop and they look for something. And you want to make sure that your content, you've searched as a customer would search for you. You know, look, understand what those keywords are, understand what those terminologies are, and build a plan out. Have a plan
And
for all of it.
And that's a very good point. I want to bring that up now that that you mentioned it because I've heard you preach this a million times, and I want to bring this to the forefront for our audience here. Um, it is paramount that you and you follow up with this, but paramount that
Yeah,
you make sure that you know what terms the customer is searching for, not what you refer to it as. It may
yeah.
be one of the same, but I know I've gotten burned by that.
Well, we all do. We all do. We all get burned by it. But what happens is, when we're in industry, you're in a hole, right? In other words, if I like to pick on something like a pizzeria, right? Um, you call it a pie, you call it a whatever your terminology for a pizza is, one individual pizza. Um, it's not necessarily what your customers are calling it, right? They're calling it a pizza. They're calling, whatever they're going to call it. You need to understand, are they actually calling it your terminology? Because if they're not, what happens is you're putting all this effort into building up content or adding these things to your website, and it's not that they don't mean anything, they just mean very little to your customers, so the search
People
engines don't find it.
people aren't searching for them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So
it's wasted time and money.
it is one of the things that I've got, went to a conference years ago, and it was, why does Google hate me or hate my business? They don't. The thing that we need to understand is that Google, or any other search engine,
Yeah.
thinks of the interaction is between the person who's looking for something and they want to give them the best information. So just like any of the social media networks, they want you when you're on their website to have the best experience, to get the best, most relevant, up-to-date information now.
Yep.
And if you can't provide it, then your competition is going to give it, and they're happy to show it to them. So that means they're going to elevate their search engine, they're going to push it to the top. And then even though you might have been the best at whatever you do, the best pizza, the best, jeweler, the best, whatever business was in your zip code or your state or even the country, you will quickly fall down the list because they will dethrone you. They will be happy to push you to the bottom.
Yep. So you said to the top and the bottom. So define top of list, bottom of list.
Yeah, absolutely. So every day, every month, there are so many updates that happen from a search engine's perspective, right? It's all this learning, this AI, the stuff that goes on, these algorithms. So when you go to a search, when you go online, you type in. It doesn't matter if it's on YouTube, Facebook, any other things that you use that you find interesting, or your customers, right? They type that information, a question. They're looking for that pizza. They're looking for flowers for Mother's Day, whatever it was. When they enter that information into that search, if it's using the proper terminology that customers use, best price roses in California, the best pizza in Northeast Pennsylvania, whatever it might be, you're not the only one that's ever asked that. I guarantee you there's probably about a million other people have asked that question. As long as you understand and look at the searches that other people are doing, and there are tools out there that'll help you do that. And some of the search engines provide that. They'll even show you recommendations when you're searching what other people have been looking for, which can help you narrow down your searches.
Right.
You got to build that into your terminology and your structure of your website.
And therefore, you are becoming more efficient
Yeah.
with those, so that dollar standpoint, time standpoint,
Yes.
and so speaking of dollar standpoint, there's the pay-per-click stuff. So do you want to explain that to the audience a little bit here?
Yeah. I mean, that's ancillaries, but when you put a website online, right? It's advertising, pay per click. If you work for
AdWords.
AdWords, or there's other things in there, but if you pay to advertise with any of the social media or a big thing like Google, what happens is you're going in, you're gonna buy access to keywords or phrases, long tail keywords, which are multiple words, and you're going to ask a question, or you're going to answer a question for an advertiser or someone that is looking to shop or buy something. So you are then going to try to purchase those words so that anybody that's looking for that information, you show up in the search, right? So you're paying for preferential treatment to serve an ad for that person who's interested in seeing it.
Right.
Anybody that uses a search engines already see those first couple results in, say, Google,
Or
generally advertised. It says
sponsored, or
sponsored. Yes, that's an ad.
yeah.
And it happens when you start to look, they'll start showing up in your feed of your social media or other things. So if you're
Sure.
looking for fishing stuff, and it's that time of year, those ads are gonna start to populate your feeds.
Which is very interesting because
Yeah.
you think about that, right? So you hit a big thing. It also shows in your social media stuff. So this is the
Correct.
tie-in, right, from the, let's just call it the network, period, the internet. Sorry, network, internet. All these engines are constantly looking at each other, working with each other.
Yes.
And there are platforms. I know that we have platforms that you do
Yeah.
literally, day to day here. And by the way, as at Slick Cyber Systems SES, we do have that for our customers as well. We offer, the SEO, everything that Chris is talking about here. But yeah, I've seen those tools, and you can push, this stuff, not just Google or Google AdWords, but all the social media stuff. I mean, it's mind-boggling when you really think of how it spiders out, right? And things cross each other.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
The search engines look to social media because social media is that thing that, regardless of what it is, if you love Instagram, you love TikTok, whatever it is, your customers are there. It again, I said fishing earlier. It's like you go into a pond has fish, right? You don't go somewhere that there's no fish to go fishing. They are there. They exist there. So what happens is you have to decide that your strategy to get business is I'm gonna fish where there are fish,
Makes
meaning that
sense.
there's customers. So you make sure that your business has the best look, keywords, all that sort of stuff. It's, you're just visuals pretty. You're answering the right questions. Your offers are correct. You maybe pay to put ads on, everything from Google, Facebook, Instagram, whatever.
Mixed
And
bag.
you mix bag. Yep. And then if it makes sense, I mean, not everybody has to, but I mean, if you're at that step where you want to take it to the next level, you pay to put an advertisement out there,
Sure.
and then the search engines are going to see that, and what they're going to do is they're seeing that you're active on a routine basis. Think about it as if you're the person who's looking for something, and the search engines are auditing you, right? You want to find something. A person comes to look for the best price on like we do computers, best price on computers, but you never update your social media, you never update your store. Means you just have you don't care, you're non-existent on that side for customers. So they
From
kind
a
of,
from a search engine
for
perspective.
search engine, yeah, perspective, they believe it's like, well, it's not just a piece of paper like it maybe it was, years ago with a website.
Phone book.
Yeah, exactly. I have a phone book ad, but it's digital. It's just stuck on the internet.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's about it.
yeah. So you got to. There's a lot more interactive. It's almost like a phone conversation in a digital format before
Web,
the customer ever calls you.
Web 2.0 changed that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we live in Web 2.0,
Yep.
3.0 soon to come. But,
Yep.
the interactivity is what turned it, for the most part, in my eyes, to 2.0. So,
Yeah.
these algorithms are definitely looking for the conversation, for the interactivity
Yeah.
of seller and buyer, both. I
Be-
mean, it's sellers got to talk about what they have and why they're better at doing it, and the buyer has to take the time to go searching
yeah.
and qualifying. It's so, and of course then you start to mix social media in with that. So I know you're an avid fisherman,
Mhm.
Steve. I know you like to fish too. I like to fish. I'm just not avid. It's Chris is avid, by the way. But you know the game, and what you're looking for. The terms. You're looking for a specific lure, a specific fly, a specific reel, a specific rod, type of rod. The novice who wants to get into it doesn't know those names per se, and they may be calling that, well, I want a fishing pole, a
Yeah.
fishing rod, a fishing pole, right?
Correct.
So I think that's what you were trying to get at before, and I'm
Yes.
trying to show. And you start talking about it on social media. Let's just say Facebook, right?
Yep.
And you're talking, to some of your buddies. Oh man, I tried fishing today, and I did it. Search engines are watching this stuff, and they know what you've posted, and they know now, this person may have an interest in fishing. So
Yes.
you could see how that's what I believe you meant by
Yes.
the
Yes.
interactivity. So there you go.
Yeah, there's definitely the integration between all of these pieces, or I should say, the interactivity, like
Interactivity.
is a lot closer than it's ever been, and it's just getting faster and faster and stronger and stronger.
Yep.
And if we think of our website is nothing more than, if like I said, if you have a physical store, it's your second location.
It's a business card.
It's a business card, but
It's
it's
a
your second
yeah,
location that allows you to say, hey, I'm not always available to be in front of somebody that isn't right down the street from me, but
right.
they might have heard about me, that they're like, hey, I make the best, pizza, or I've got like these great deals on dinner, or
Yeah.
flower bouquets, whatever it is. It gives you the availability to get in front of more customers, very quickly, and using social. There's obviously the cost associated with your effort, your labor, right?
Yeah.
But there's no way, it has never happened in the past where it's just the use of, you can have a Facebook account and not pay for it.
It it turns it's turning it it's turning just about every interaction into a personal,
It
a
is definitely.
pseudo personal
Yeah.
interaction. I mean, let's face it. I mean, if you're considering IT services, across the board, you know, you now you know our name, and see our face. We're human beings. We just, this is what we do for a living. We've done it for a long, long time,
Yep.
and we're good at it. So, I think that understanding the personality and helps a lot, because people gravitate towards people. That's why humans interact the way we do.
Yeah,
God made us that way, right?
that's what's made social so
Yeah,
powerful, because
absolutely.
it's multiple people having conversations about a topic that they are interested in. That's why it's important for a business to understand that is it is not a waste of time. It is not something that
Yeah.
just kids do. It is not something that is distracting your employees. Yes, obviously they shouldn't be wasting time while you're paying them. However, it is a pool where your audience lives, and you need to understand that they're going to talk about these things with you, or they're going to share the offers of a competing business because you have decided to not do it.
And your employees are part of that pool as well.
Correct.
So, and you may be part of the pool. I
Mhm.
mean, I know I am to some degree. I'm not a big social media guy by any stretch, but there are, times when if friends interact or what have you. I
Yeah.
mean, it is what it is. It's at some point in time you're going to touch and speak to another person, whether it's via a chat through a post. Sorry, not a chat, a post on an Instagram feed or
Yep.
Facebook feed,
Yep.
or it could be a video like this, where
Yeah.
you can actually see us in a far more animated form, as opposed to, hey, here's this picture, call this guy, better call Saul. um,
Yeah.
it's yeah, the game's changed, man. I mean, Yellow Book has for the most part come and gone, and the static website for the most part has come and gone. You should be updating your website as well, and then the SEO and all the other stuff that you just talked about. It all needs to be taken and massaged constantly. It cannot be static. And I
Yeah.
believe that's what you were saying.
Yeah, I do. But I don't think I think that a lot of businesses fear the time and commitment involved with it. It doesn't have to be something that is daunting to the point of you've got customers to deal with and things to do, and this is yet another thing.
Yeah.
And Lord knows, as someone who owns a business, right?
Right.
The time is probably one of the most valuable assets that you have, and the things that you have to spend it on is important. But
Absolutely.
you do not need to spend ungodly amounts of time. You literally
Yeah.
should have a plan, put it in place. If you don't know where to start, you talk to someone like our side. We can help you. You define a simplistic plan, or augment what you can not do,
Yeah,
and then help
split
you
it.
do it. Yep.
There's no harm, no foul in splitting it. Where
Yep.
instead of paying the ad agency, or come to Slick Cyber Systems, we can augment you. You obviously your business, but that interactivity,
That,
between your company and our company, and we start to understand, and you feed us the content, we get the content out there, we put it in the right places at the right time, and do the automation and the pushes, the stuff that you probably don't want to learn.
yeah.
I
Or
guess is
maybe
what
don't
you're
have
saying,
necessarily have the time, or
or the tool set,
tool
or the
set.
tool
Yeah.
set to do it. Yep, absolutely. Well, that was awesome. I think that was a very refreshing to hear that, because it's just, in my opinion, a very um, masked, misguided,
I think there's a lot
terminology.
of
Oh,
fear. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of
sure.
fear. People are scared. They don't know where to go, where to start, and there, you know,
Fear comes from a lack of understanding, and
yeah,
that was the point of this video today, was to bring that and say it ain't rocket science. It is
that,
not rocket science. It's just, you got to plan it, you got to do it right, and you've got to use the right words, the right tools, the right
and
everything, and it come
you're
together.
essentially working a list, a recipe online, if you will, and you're just perfecting it, change it, minor tweaks, see what works,
And by the way, you may
whatever
hate
doesn't
doing
work.
it. You may hate doing it.
Yeah,
I'm not particularly fond of doing it, but you have to do it. It's the new norm. It's
it's
the
like
new
it's
norm.
like a meet and greet at a convention, or if you're going to be in an elevator with somebody, like if you will, it's the digital version of an elevator pitch, right? Like
You've got it.
put your best foot forward in a digital space where your customers exist.
You got it.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. That
Yep.
was super informative, Chris. And I think we'll let us all roll at that point. And certainly if you have more questions about the topic, give any of us a call, or Chris in particular, 570-215-8888, slickcybersystems.com on the web. Um, you can email us at sales@slickcybersystems.com. No matter how you get to us, we'll get back to you. And yes, we do have social media, platforms. You can catch them off our website because I don't even remember all the names of them.
Yep.
So we'll just call it
They're
a
all
day at
linked.
that.
They're all linked there, so you'll be able to find it.
Yeah, yep, yep. So thank you very much. Appreciate your patience and time listening to this and or watching and listening to this. And hopefully you found it fruitful. Take care.
Thanks.